Today, I'm going to tell you the story of a girl I met the other day that told me we're not going to have sex. And I said, okay. Later that night, she actually got mad at me because I told her that we're not going to have sex. But before we get into that story, I want to let you know really quickly that I've added a number of new dates for my in person coaching. Now, my in person coaching is mainly 7-day immersions where you come out and meet me, and I take you to venues where you can go and approach women, bars, clubs, busy streets, malls, and show you how to do it in person. I push you to approach even if you have extreme approach anxiety. I've only ever had 2 clients that weren't able to approach on the first day, even if they had very bad social anxiety. They'd never approached a girl in their life. I've had dozens, if not over 100 clients at this point that had never approached until they worked with me and took a boot camp. So I take you out, push you to take action, push you to approach 50 to 100, 200 even women over the course of a week. And then I also find out what mistakes you're making in your interactions that are making women turn you down, right? That are making women lose interest or not be interested in you. It might be that you're just not holding eye contact, something about your body language, your vocal tonality, you're too friendly and platonic, and I will show you exactly how to fix those mistakes in a very short period of time so that by the end of the week, there's a very good chance that you're pulling girls home, having instant makeouts, getting multiple girls' numbers, having several dates in the course of the program. And I've added a number of new dates in places like Austin, Miami, Phoenix, San Diego. And the last time that I added new dates, I ran out of space within 48 hours. So these will go quickly, but if you're interested in the idea of working with me in person, then make sure to click the link below to sign up for a free call to find out if you're a good fit for the program. And most of these are 7-day immersions, but there's also a couple 3-day boot camps as well, because I know some people, they have a work schedule where they just couldn't possibly do a 7-day coaching program. With that out of the way, I went on a date with a girl a few days ago. A very attractive girl who was skinny, like 5'3", but also had just like a huge personality. And so we went to a museum, which is a good first date in a tourist city, because just going to coffee, like if a girl is traveling, just going to get coffee isn't very exciting. So going to do something like seeing a museum or anything touristy is a little bit more appealing. So anyway, we go to a museum. She's touching me a lot. She's clearly interested. The vibe is really good. And eventually I invite her to get a drink with me. So we get a drink back at my place, and she makes sure to say, we're not having sex though. Okay, we're not having sex. So we go back to my place, play some Uno, play some Connect 4, and start making out. And then, I start kissing her neck, and things get a little bit more heated, and I pull away for a second. I'm like, of course, we're not having sex though, and make strong sexual eye contact. She feels like really turned on, and then she asks me if I have a condom. She's like, "Do you have a condom?" I was like, "You said we weren't having sex." Well, at the moment, I didn't want to have sex, but now I do. And I said, "Well, I'm not ready. We're not having sex yet." And I'm just teasing her, I'm kind of messing with her. But then she turns over and is really sad. She gets upset that I said we're not going to have sex. She actually gets frustrated by this, which is funny because she literally said, we're not going to have sex, which means at least for the day, right? And then 20, 30 minutes later, she's upset that I told her we're not going to have sex. And what's really going on there? Because I've had many situations where a girl said we're not having sex. There was one, she said 3 times before I brought her home that we're not having sex. And then I took it logically. And then, so I took it very seriously. And then we're making out on the couch, and she eventually got pissed off. She got pissed off and said, "Are you going to fuck me or what?" Saying it in a tone implying that I'm basically a pussy. That's the way she said it. And what's going on here is a number of things. For one, women don't want to seem slutty. They don't want to be judged for being someone that will just have sex with anyone at any time. And by saying that, they're taking off responsibility for being slutty, right? It's harder to judge them for being slutty because they said they don't want to do it. And obviously, when you're in the bedroom, it's completely different, right? If they're saying they don't want to do it then, that you have to take completely seriously. But saying it beforehand, oftentimes ends up meaning the opposite. It means they really do want to have sex. So they're saying this because they don't want to seem like a slut. And it also has a lot to do with the fact that the way men go about escalating often makes women not want to have sex. So after this girl and I hooked up, I asked her, like, when did you decide that you did want to have sex with me? When did you change your mind? And she told me that it was when I started kissing her neck. She said when I started kissing her neck, she just got so aroused, so turned on, that she had decided she wanted to have sex. And this is a classic example of change her mood, not her mind. Logically, having a one-night stand is something that you probably shouldn't do. It's probably not the best decision according to society's judgments, right? There's a lot of reasons to feel like, I shouldn't do that. I don't want to be judged. Women get judged a lot, even today, for having one-night stands. So logically, well, no, I only do this on the third date. I wait. But if you're turned on enough, then your logic will follow your emotions and you completely change your mind. So when you're in a hookup situation, when you're on a date, what you should really be focusing on is turning the girl on as much as possible. And this, like when you're making out, yeah, kiss her neck, kiss around her body, do things, move your hands up her inner thighs at certain points, right? Do things that turn her on more. That's your focus, is making her more aroused, more turned on, to give her a better experience. And then she will want to have sex more, but she'll also want to give you a better experience. And the more that you basically are turning each other on and giving each other pleasure, the more enjoyable the entire situation will be for both of you anyway. So it's better that way. And this girl, I asked her, I started talking to her about the whole one-night stand thing. And she said what a lot of guys do is they want to use her as basically like a sex doll. They just want to use her to get off. They just want to have a climax as quickly as possible. There's no intimate eye contact. There's no foreplay and gradual sexual escalation. A lot of men just want to get laid as quickly as possible, and that's all they're thinking about. They're thinking about the end goal, not the process of getting there. And if you want to be the guy that women initially, they're like, oh, we're not going to have sex, but later, they literally ask you to have sex with them because they've changed their mind. That's the key to being that guy. Focus on what's going to turn her on more. Focus on what she wants. And keep in mind that arousal works very differently for men and women. For women, it's a more gradual process that goes up and down and up and down. For men, it's like, it's very simple. But for women, it's different. But the good thing is, sexual arousal is reciprocal. Right? The more a girl is turned on, the more she is aroused, that's arousing for you as a man as well. So the more you focus on giving pleasure, the more you get back anyway. And plus, because of the law of reciprocation, she's going to want to do things for you as well, right? Because you're doing things for her, she's going to want to do things for you. Now, if you're in bed with a girl and she is still saying that she doesn't want to have sex, then make sure that you get affirmative consent before doing anything. You don't want there to be any room for doubt. But this story illustrates why seduction is all about influencing emotions, focusing on what you're making the girl feel, not on what you want. Don't just focus on like what you want to achieve, what you want to get, on what you want her to feel, what you want her to experience. And the more you do that, the more you will be able to get the things you want as a result. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not getting dates, you're not getting into situations where girls can even say that we're not gonna have sex and then change their mind, then what I'd recommend is click the link below to schedule a free call with me to talk about whether an in-person coaching program would be a good fit for you. Because if you're watching videos like this, but you're not going on dates regularly, the most likely explanation is that you're not meeting enough women, you're not approaching enough women, you're not asking enough girls out. and that's holding you back. The easiest way to get over your approach anxiety, your internal resistance to approaching, is to hire a coach and work with them in person so that you have an incredible amount of emotional leverage to finally take action, so that you make the identity shift from being someone who's dabbling, who's dipping their feet in the water, to someone who's taking this seriously and who is actually going to get results, who actually intends to succeed. The quickest way to make that shift is to get coaching. And if in-person coaching is not an option for you because of your location or for whatever reason, then I also offer a very, very effective online mentorship program that you can learn more by clicking the link below.
Gone out for 3-4 days in a row, like ham. Like I've done at least 100 plus approaches, maybe more. Like a ton of interactions, a ton of reference experiences, and I actually got to pool twice during the boot camp.
Can't recommend the boot camp enough. Prior to this, I'd never done a cold approach in my life. I ended up going on one date with a girl just logistically, and then was able to pull her back to her place. Had a one-night stand. It was the first one of my life. I recommend Avery 100%. Thank you, Avery, for you've opened my eyes and really changed the way I look at things. I can't wait to keep going.